Thank you for the dress, Henry. It's really lovely.
Wouldn't you like to take a stroll somewhere?
I'd love to.
Listen, Theresa. There's something I ought to tell you.
What is it? What's troubling you?
I'm not quite sure how to tell you, so I'll just spit it out. So Radzig Kobyla is... my father.
And King Wenceslas is my cousin. You really had me going.
No, I'm serious.
What? But, Henry, how on earth could...
I know. It was a shock for me, too. It turns out Sir Radzig and my mother had some... romance. Of course, he couldn't marry a commoner.
And your father? I mean the blacksmith. God, that sounds so odd. I mean Martin.
He knew Sir Radzig from way back. Martin... Pa married her before I was born, to protect her reputation, and raise me as his own.
And Sir Radzig allowed it?
Sure. Actually, I get a feeling the whole thing was agreed between them. Sir Radzig was glad she wasn't left alone with a child.
My God, Henry, that's just... And what will that mean for you?
I honestly don't know.
You don't know?
Well, it all depends on Sir Radzig, doesn't it? As his illegitimate son, I don't have any rights as such. Well, it's not like I've suddenly become a noble like Capon. And even though Sir Radzig has publicly acknowledged me, well, sort of, it hasn't really changed anything.
And if Sir Radzig decided to make a real noble of you, would you want that?
I wouldn't. And it's never going to happen anyway.
Why not?
A bastard remains a bastard. Even if Sir Radzig never had another heir, all his property would go to the king by rights.
You might be right, but can't you imagine it? Would you still care for me, a common millmaid, if you were a nobleman?
Of course. I'll always be fond of you. Nothing will change that.
I'll remember that. I hope you won't regret those words.
No fear of that.
The time passes so quickly with you, Henry. Come and see me again sometime. Would you still care for me, a common millmaid, if you were a nobleman?
Look, don't take it badly, but I don't want to make any naive promises. After all, it didn't work out for Sir Radzig and Ma.
You wouldn't even give it a try? Oh well. I suppose it's understandable if you were a noble and I... Let's talk about something else. Or you know what? Let's head home again. I'm quite tired.
All right, if you want.
I must go, Henry. Take care. And if Sir Radzig decided to make a real noble of you, would you want that?
Me become a noble? Fine clothes, hunting, drinking wine from a gold goblet, and stuffed pheasant for breakfast? Ha! Of course! Who wouldn't want it?
I think there's a little more to it than that, Henry. You'd have huge responsibilities.
True. But anyway, it's not important what I want. A bastard will always be a bastard.
I don't know. All sorts of things can change. Would you still care for me, a common millmaid, if you were a noble?
Listen, Theresa. There's something I ought to tell you.
What is it? What's troubling you?
Actually, never mind. I found out some things, but it's not important.
Oh. You looked so serious, though.
No, it's nothing. We should carry on. Home again.
Don't you want a little wager
See you
on
again
the
sometime.
rat-aid tourney?
Yes. Come by again.